So what we did today is kind of taking maybe a different approach. So from the beginning we saw that you invite us to kind of get inspired by us. We were supposed to be creative and come up with different ideas. So we know that no one's know the situation here better than you, so we're not able to really go deeper or really specific on the problem, but we might be able to trigger or inspire you. So what we did, our main goal for today was to come up with the most ideas possible. So we're gonna briefly present you 4 of them. So at the beginning what we did was try to map out all the different characters and stakeholders that play a role here, and trying to imagine not the small problems that they have, but the worst scenario of these problems. So making it super clear what would be like the most extreme and chaotic situation, and then from that being able to see a way of solving it. So for the farmers, what we see is that the changes in farming industry might be super tricky because they never know how the government is gonna regulate the next year, so it's really tricky. Also, every change that they make has to be really fast implemented and normally very expensive, and they have no control over this situation. For the second stakeholders, which are corporations, companies, we see that in a worst scenario, they will be out of resources, of money, of a slow pace, because for them it's the opposite. They want to be fast and efficient as possible, and maybe they have a lack of power in the zone, in this area. And then lastly, for the inhabitants of the city, we see that the worst possible cases might be a dangerous and crowded road in the area that it's not really thought for people. An area that is not beautiful and desirable to live, so it's really polluted and unhealthy environment, and there is like not a community or not a rural, this kind of society that you all form together. So looking at those problems, we envision together that we want to show the interdependencies of these stakeholders and make them admire themselves and each other. So this is kind of our guiding point, and from this we started ideating different concepts in order to solve the possible future, spatial future of this area and how it might look. And now we're gonna present the ideas. So we're gonna start with the Lobo route.
Oh, yeah. Lobo route. Okay, so we visit farmer Rick today, and he was telling us about the solar panels on his roof and the problem that he has too much energy or too much electricity that he is not all going to use. So he was already thinking about charging spots for e-bikes. So we went a little bit along with that, and we want also to combine the local products the farmers here are producing. So the idea is that the route, so the way between Lochem and Borculo, so it's hard, is attractive for the inhabitants of the villages to take with their electric bike, and they can stop, for example, at the farm of Rick and to charge their bike over there and to relax and have a social interaction with each other, and also to eat the local cheese of Farmer Rick, to work on the connection between the farmer and the habitant, to see, okay, what's the farmer doing and how is their connection and what can they expect from each other. And also to look maybe at the tourism with all the horses going on, so also other people can come by and see what everything here is. So that's the first.
Okay. Yep, that's the first. Let's move to the second one. So the second one.
Yeah, I will tell something about this. We have like a different concept. It's art connected sustainability. Here we go back to the vision statement where we want the stakeholders admiring themselves in each other. So we have these different elements. We thought of like how do you represent that you're proud of what you're doing. Like we see a lot of roundabouts around here, and we thought maybe we can use that space to make something artful, like a statement. And yeah, we also thought about the cows or maybe the horses as like something you're proud of and you want people to see. Then we made like a little bit of a banner where you have the history or the tales of the estates that you want to tell others. And we have like a sort of light guiding you along the road, and you can see which stakeholders or which parts use the energy you produce yourself and that you want to sell. So you see that the lanterns are like solar panel, and the farm leads as well there, and you see how the energy guides you through the area. Then we also have like statements that you want to show and that you show that you care. And then we have, yeah, that's a simple guidance, and it grabs your attention. And then a less part of that is that it's an investment. But yeah, that's something you want to be proud of, so that would be worth it.
Okay. Next one. Okay, so the third one, we have called it the new shared state. So it's to, oops, can you, yeah. So it's kind of to set up this idea of community, putting these three stakeholders, so inhabitants, the farmers, and the companies, working together in something that represents a symbol of guidance, or how do you want to collaborate each other, and then for the future on, follow the same kind of agreement. So we thought that maybe rebuilding the state that was something very symbolic in this area, but in a new and modern way that triggers how the future should look like, can be very inspiring. So we have visualized it in a sustainable, 100% sustainable, with the ceiling as a solar panel, and maybe hold their kind of activities to reinforce the community and to inspire others that pass by and want to really learn how a community can work together, farmers, inhabitants, and industry, to create a better and more sustainable future. So it helps to our vision in terms that physically brings everyone together, because it's a place of gathering, and it has, it's kind of expensive, some pitfalls, but also will really reinforce the sense of community and will be attractive as well for tourists. And I think we can move for the last one.
So, lastly, and we have a load more, we have like hundreds of post-its there. Actually, take a look at our table. Lastly, it's maybe very, very simple and easy to implement idea, because we think that there's already a lot of things happening. Farmers have already solar panels on their roof. There's like a big international company, the Campina, around the corner. So there are already very cool things which are already working together, or are next to each other at least. So the only thing we have to do is to show you guys and the people which drive on the road and everybody that this is happening. And if you show that it's happening and that it's related to each other, then it becomes like a little bit famous inside the community and people know. So a very easy way to do this would be to place stickers on the road, but it could also be signs on the side of the road with like, look, the farmer here, which you see on your right side, is producing 800 kilowatts per year, and he's with that energy he's sustaining parts of the village, or he's providing energy for Campina. So you show that it's not only farmers and companies and other people, but they're working together and they're producing energy for each other. So yeah, another example could be, well, look at your right, here's Campina, the big company which also shows how you can produce milk on a global scale instead of a small scale. So that could all be examples to spread awareness, and therefore show the connection. We also wrote at every idea a little bit doubt because they're not perfect yet. That's kind of the point where we're presenting multiple. And you have to really think about how long will a certain sign last? Will it be interesting after a year? So then maybe if you have to change it, and that's maybe something difficult with this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to wrap up?
Yeah. So I hope that they stay in your mind. I know it's been a lot of information, but I hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you have any doubts, it's the moment now. Thank you.
Yeah.